things vision boarding, why I love to vision board, some of the things that I've accomplished off my vision board, and why being specific with each goal is so important. And then also how I remind myself of everything is also in God's hands, because kingdom math doesn't add up, it makes miracles. To give you a little backstory, I started vision boarding in about 2020. I took a course with Callie Wilson. She has had amazing, successful career. She hosted a vision board workshop on how she vision boards with her own goals and then also with her family's goals, and how her kids started to achieve things with their vision board and how beautiful it was to come to life. She breaks down her goals in 9 different squares. It's called the Feng Shui vision board, and it breaks it up into different categories of your life. And I break down my goals within 3 months. It's very realistic and reasonable within a reasonable time frame for me, so 90 days. So cool. So one of the goals I had was in the kind of giving back or humanitarian efforts was to gift 100 Aroma Touch sessions to 100 people in 90 days. And at the time I was living on Molokai, and for my birthday I had asked my mom for a massage table because I wanted a gift that would keep on giving. And so with that table I'd go from house to house with my oils, and it was a way that I got to connect within a community that I didn't know, because I was from Oahu and people didn't know me on Molokai. So it was a way for me to connect and build a community and have friendships, and through that experience I was able to complete it within 90 days. Another square that I had was I wanted to meet the man who created the Aroma Touch technique, and I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna happen in a couple years, or maybe when I go to doTERRA's convention. And months later, doTERRA announced that they would be having a distribution center here on Oahu, a fulfillment center where you can go and you can pick up your products. And I went to the grand opening and I got to meet Dr. Hill, and I got to talk to him, and eventually others had shared with him what I was doing and what my goal was, and he wanted to hear the strategy and why, and so I got to speak with his assistant, and it was a really cool experience for me to put that up on my vision board, and just so happened he's in town. Cool to see how the way I thought I was gonna meet him and my logic mind made up this story of this is how I'm gonna meet him, and see the way that God orchestrates the blessings and plan he has and what our logical mind makes up. Shortly after that, I was gifted the chance to go to Jamaica because of what I was doing. It was an incentive trip for leaders in the doTERRA community to win this incentive trip. The arrangements were, something had happened and they had asked me if I wanted to go on the trip, and they thought that I had deserved it and really loved what I was doing in the community, and so I got to go to Jamaica pretty much for free. I had to pay for my flight and everything else was taken care of. It was an all-inclusive resort in Jamaica, and just to see the culture. We also got to give back to a community that doTERRA supports out there called Source to You, and just a way to give back to the community and all that they're doing. In light of this, also during that time, I thought it was such a silly idea, but I wanted to walk on stage at the doTERRA convention because I loved all the humanitarian efforts that doTERRA was doing to impact the world. Also in Hawaii alone, Hawaiian Sandalwood Project and how they're giving back to the land. We actually had a week-long Malama week that we went to different lo'i, which is a lo'i I still go to this day, and to be able to see the evolution and the transformation that lo'i has had, and to be a part of what it was like from the ground up was really an amazing experience. And to go off of that, I had this silly vision of me having going and walking on stage at a convention, and shortly after that, this guy who works at doTERRA corporate, he is from Nanakuli, born and raised, like a local boy, and he reached out to me to be a part of the Meta Power, which is a line that they were going to release, doing a like test run group to get personal testimonies. And so I was like, heck yeah, like free products for the new line that hasn't come out yet, like totally, I'd love to be a part of that. And so for 30 days I got a bunch of free products to test out on my health. I was given a personal trainer that did offer workouts. At the time I was working out with my friend Maya, and then a meal plan to eliminate processed sugar and whatnot, and to really just use the line to see its benefits. I had a massive transformation with my skin elasticity, and just I got a lot of golden nuggets about health and the metabolic system and our metabolism, and just really dropping golden nuggets about health, which really shifted my perspective. In result of this 30-day trial run of the new products, they were asking who would be open to speak on stage, and I totally had missed that email or whatnot. And so Jake had called me and was like, hey, did you see, like, you were one of the people that were chosen to speak on stage, and I was one of the youngest people to speak about it. And it was such an amazing experience, because not only did I get to try out free products, I got to achieve one of my vision board goals, was because I had this vision in my room and I put it up on my whiteboard. I had the end result of what I wanted it to look like, and then I just trusted the process and I was open. To sum things up, definitely a vision board girly, always stand by it. Malik and I create vision boards together. We actually have a whiteboard because we're just always putting creative ideas and anything that we think will benefit the long-term vision. This is where the magic happens. All on this board. While we're not perfect, I do think that it helps our relationship to focus on what it is that we're working towards, and we're always focused on not us against each other, it's us against the problem. And one thing that we do that always reminds me, he always like will grab my hand and I'll put my hand in his and he'll say, it's you and me against the world, Natalie. We're focusing on what it is that we're wanting to achieve, and it always reminds me that fighting over like worldly things is not even worth our energy, because when we're putting all of our energy towards our goals, it's what helps create it, and it's what keeps us young. It's what keeps us inspired and creative, and I love vision boarding with him. However, it does get rough sometimes, because in this season of our life there's a lot of transition and change, and so we're focused a lot on the vision board, and I've had like 2 mental breakdowns where I'm like crying of how I'm scared to reach that burnout point. And he reminded me really of we did that, and now we know not to make that mistake again, and we know to really focus on our relationship and our activities we like to do on top of, you know, going to the gym, doing family stuff, doing career stuff, and really, you know, nurturing what it is that we've created in our home. When I think of vision boarding as well, it's this reminder that we are grateful for what we have, and that this home even is a result of our vision board, of the things that we were praying over. And we think about the life that we had before our vision board, and we didn't really have a kitchen to cook out of, our meal preps out of. We were always on the go. We wake up at 4:30 a.m. and go to the gym, and we didn't have a laundry machine at our house, so we'd have to go to many different houses to wash our laundry, and we were constantly living out of our car, and sometimes sleeping on the floor. And it's a reminder to me that those things were preparing us for the home we live in now, because neither of us complain about doing laundry or cooking food, because it's easy now. And I really believe that God was building our character to be grateful for the things that we have now, like having a laundry machine, having a stove to cook on, having, you know, we hear the birds in the morning, we hear, like, I was gonna say the cockroaches, the roosters, the cock-a-doodle-doos, you know, like, to be grateful for those things. And so I just think it's a beautiful experience what we can create on vision boards, and in trusting what God has planned for us too, and being open to the possibilities. To kind of sum things up, I definitely believe that a vision is planted in our heart for a reason, and it is my job to be a vessel of Kyoku's work and to live in alignment with that. And when I have my worldly desires put in front of me and I chase that, it's when I stop attracting the blessings that I'm able to receive, because I'm in the flesh, and that never works. Right now, this season has a lot of transition. I've definitely had mental breakdowns over this next transition in our life, and I'm excited to see the values and the perspective we'll have after creating what's on this board.